Yeah, so up next then is Dortmund, Stefan. What do you make of their performances? I mean, overall they go through difficult circumstances. Of course, they beat Shakhtar Donetsk today. The team that is playing in the biggest rival stadium, right? In Gelsenkirchen. They beat them 3-1. They had an outside chance of finishing the top 8 again because of Leverkusen. They do not. They just finished outside. I think the biggest news today, too, has been the hiring of Niko Kovac. Lars Ricken confirming this. Not announced by the club, but Lars Ricken essentially confirming it to DAZN on German television that he's the guy who's coming in. I think with everything going on at Borussia Dortmund, my grade is a C. I think going through, there was a couple games where I thought they could have done maybe a little bit better. The Real Madrid game where they threw away the 2-0 lead. Who knows what would have happened if they were able to hang on to that. But they didn't exactly shock me with their performances. So I think like a C, a passing grade, is what I give them.
Yeah, I completely agree. Some good, some bad. The Shakhtar game was hilarious, I thought. Can we just take a minute to appreciate Benzabaini's goal? I don't know if you saw it. I posted on social media, Benzabaini scored a delightfully dinked finish with all the finesse of a player without a worry in the world. And then I said, rather fitting for a defender that routinely causes all sorts of problems down the other end of the pitch by failing to mark his runner properly. So, just a bizarre moment in the chaos tonight that this guy who, probably one of the main culprits of being under, the star players that Dortmund have, that doesn't perform well. I actually was reading today that I think he's the 8th highest paid player at Dortmund, which is just crazy. And amid everything that's happened this season, he gets played through, and instead of just smashing it and making sure it went in, he just he plays a dummy, tries to get the keeper to fall over, and then chips it over. It's a great goal, all credit to him, but it's just so Dortmund that in the middle of all this, they can still have little moments like that. And that probably sums up their Champions League campaign, to be honest. They absolutely thumped a Club Brugge side who've caused all sorts of problems in this Champions League. They thumped a Celtic side who've caused all sorts of problems in this Champions League. Sturm Graz who beat Leipzig tonight, Dinamo Zagreb who caused issues as well tonight in the final match day. They went toe-to-toe with Real Madrid and Barcelona. They kind of got undone. That Real Madrid game in particular was one in which Nuri Sahin was truly humbled, and he admitted that after the match. So, maybe the beginning of the end for him there. And then the Barcelona game at home was, again, a performance which I think just underlined the lack of quality in the squad. I think the Bologna performance is probably the one that really stands out as, a game that they maybe should have done better in. But aside from that, you look at that list of performances and you think, well, they beat the teams they were supposed to beat, so fair enough. It's a bit of a shame that they can win, 5 of their 8 games, is it? And they still fall into the playoff positions, but it'll be interesting to see how they do, because I'm terrified to look at the bracket. You tell me. Who are they going to play?
They got Sporting or Club Brugge.
Right, okay, so they got Bruges again. Right,
terrible. It's terrible.
I thought they were going to play Atalanta. The way it looked, I thought, gosh, they got no chance against Atalanta. But, it's Sporting or Club Brugge either way. It'll be tough because, Club Brugge, they obviously lost to Dortmund, but then they went on to beat Aston Villa, drew with Celtic, beat Sporting, drew with Juventus, and actually gave Man City a really good run of it tonight, despite losing 3-1. So that would be an easy tie by any means. In terms of a score, I'm going to give them like a B-, maybe a B, because I think they basically did everything they were expected to do. I'm not really going to downgrade them for not beating Barca and Real Madrid. So the only performance, only game that they probably should have done better in was the Bologna one, which is just absolutely baffling when you compare that to how they've just completely fallen apart and, just capitulated in the Bundesliga this season.
I think, thinking back on it though, I think the Bologna game was also the team essentially ensuring that the head coach was going to get fired. It was a performance where you look back and you say, yeah, they were playing against Nuri Sahin, and you're right. They beat Bologna and they would be 5th. They'd be ahead of Leverkusen. And we wouldn't even have this conversation, right? So Dortmund is a baffling case because I actually also thought they played really well against Barcelona. That match was wide open, right? With both teams essentially refusing to defend. And so they were entertaining, and with a little luck, you finish a little bit higher. Good goal differential too. In fact, of the teams that finished ahead of them in the top eight, only only Arsenal, Barcelona, and Liverpool had a better goal differential than them in the top eight. And then, Atalanta sit there in ninth. They're the only other team with a better goal differential who also dropped out, right? So Dortmund actually done decent enough. The Bologna result is the one that drops it down for me. But, it is what it is. They now have to go and take an extra lap against Club Brugge or Sporting. I think both those opponents are beatable for them. We'll see how it goes